Alright, so you clicked on the unread books shelf. These and these, I wish they lined up now, for this video at least, are unread books. So I'm just gonna go through all of them saying the titles, because I don't have any really thing else to say about them because they're unread books. So we're just gonna power on. So, When We Were Alive by Chelsea Fisher, who is a YouTube friend of mine, has been for years. She published a book. It comes out, I think, March 1st. Says this giant font here, so that's cool. Fishbowl by Bradley Somer. This was sold to me by a friend of mine that works at a bookstore that I go to very often, and he said I had to get it. It's about a fish that commits suicide. He wants to fly, so he jumps out of an apartment building, and then it's about the stories of all of the people that he passes. Will putting this light here make it better? I think it did. Next up is Rain by Amanda Sun. This is the sequel to, oh gosh, what was the first book called? I'm really trying to, Ink. It's called Ink. It's about a girl who goes to Japan, and she meets a boy who, whenever he draws something, it comes to life. I really liked the first book. I would like to continue. Now I realize I don't really remember what happened in the first book, because I read it so long ago, so maybe I'm gonna have to reread that. French Milk by Lucy Nicely. This is another graphic memoir of her trips abroad. This was given to me by a friend. The Bermuda Triangle by Maureen Johnson. This is about 3 friends who are all girls, and then summer happens and it turns out that 2 of them fall in love. And it's about how that affects the friendship group and what they learn about their lives. Wanderlust by Elizabeth Eves. I bought this because a booktuber friend recommended it. I'm detecting a trend. People giving me books and me buying books because people tell me to. My friend Chapter Stacks, Katie, mentioned this book once, and I wanted to read more about travel, so yeah, I started reading this and stopped, but I'd like to continue. Ruta Sepetys Out of the Easy. Nothing to say about it. The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. Nothing to say about it. Where Things Come Back by John Corey Whaley. Nothing to say about it. Joyride by Anna Banks. Actually do have something to say about it. So Anna Banks wrote a trilogy called The Serena Legacy, which is about mermaids. And I read that 2 years ago, or last year. 2 years ago, wow, can't believe it's been so much time. And I really enjoyed that series, so I'm really excited to read this. I've started it and I'm enjoying it so far. It's not going as fast as I wanted it to, so I kind of put it down for now, but I would definitely like to get back to it because it's about a girl whose parents got deported back to Mexico, and so she's kind of struggling to get through high school without her parents, and that the whole politics around that, and I find that fantastically happy that that's getting some representation because that's a real life scenario for a lot of people. So that's really great. Deathless by Catherine M. Valente. Katie from Chapter Stacks also convinced me to buy this. Katie, what you doing? This is a Russian fairy tale, I think. Maybe not. Fragile Beast by Tawny Odell. This is a book I bought a really long time ago because it was on sale at Chapters, and I started reading it and I really enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed it. It was very slow paced, and it was about like a woman and these 2 guys, and I used a hotel card as a bookmark. I got to page 100. Wow, that's such a solid place to get to. It's about the country, and about this woman who raises bulls, sort of. It's not about that at all. And it was just such a relaxing read. Whenever I read it, I really felt relaxed. But then something happened, I don't remember what, because it was years ago, and I stopped reading it. And now I really want to read it again, but I want to give it the time to really enjoy it. I got an email, process it, but that's become problematic because now I don't want to pick it up until it's the right time, but it's never going to be the right time. Where the Moon Isn't by Nathan Filer. I was given this by Reagan, and I really want to read it. What's interesting is that this has a different title. Ooh, what's the other title? You've probably heard it as The Shock in the Fall, so I don't know why it's called Where the Moon Isn't, because everybody just calls it The Shock in the Fall. Revolution by Russell Brand. I really liked Russell Brand's YouTube channel when he was still running it. I wanted him to come back. An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. Okay, here's the story. So when I first became a part of BookTube, one of the authors I was first introduced to was John Green. And so I went out and bought everything. I just bought all of the John Green, and I bought this and I have never read it. I've now been on BookTube 5 years and I have never read it. Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I really want to read this. I got most of the way through. Wow, I didn't realize how far I'd gotten into it. Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. Wolf in White Van by John Darnielle. Look, I just found a note that I wrote in light green. Maybe you can't even see it. It says, "What is happening?" So I tried to read it and was confused. I would like to get published someday. And so I want to start looking into what's currently being published in the world of poetry and short fiction. So I picked up the Literary Review, and this is one of their recent issues, and yeah, it's called Street Cred. It's pretty cool looking, and it's just a collection of work by a collection of authors. This is cool. Travels with a Donkey by R.L. Stevenson, Robert Louis Stevenson, who wrote Jekyll and Hyde, which I love. And this is really a beautiful book that I found in a used bookstore in Vancouver when shopping with my friend Raylene. Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. Bookshop Book by fellow booktuber Jen Campbell. The Circle by Dave Eggers, which I started reading with my boyfriend, but then we both got really, really busy, so we had to put a stop to it. But I hope we can keep going, because I was enjoying it. Can you tell I really got obsessed with Russell Brand? The Bookie Wook, a memoir by Russell Brand. This is a shame. I love Morgan Matson. Everything I've ever read by her, I've adored. But I haven't read Since You've Been Gone yet, and I've heard this is one of her best, so I really need to do that. Reality Boy by A.S. King. Bananagrams by, just kidding. This is a game. Have you ever played Bananagrams? It's such a fun game. Look, I'm smiling. Oh. My friend Amy introduced me to this game and then bought it for me. It's all of these letter tiles and you try to make crosswords. I don't know. It's really, really fun. I love it. My True Love Gave to Me, 12 Holiday Stories by Stephanie Perkins, Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. Shall I hold them up closer? Yes, good idea, Ariel. Rosie's Red by Cecil Castellucci, Tease by Amanda McKeel, The Dinner by Herman Koch. I don't know how you pronounce that. This should be in the graphic novels, but it didn't fit because that section was already too full. Seconds by Brian Lee O'Malley. And then we have Our Spoons Came from Woolsworths, perhaps? Barbara Cummins. The Canning Season by Polly Horvath. And The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer. Alright, we've done the top section. We move on to the bottom section. So as you can see, I have this little book, The Observer's Book of Modern Art by William Gaunt. I got this at a random little flea market. Would we call it a flea market? I don't actually know what a flea market is. It was just a stand outside, not a real store, but they sell books in London in a section called Angel. So yeah, pick that up. And then we have A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. We have Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay, which I've been meaning to, I want to read this so bad. This is such an interesting phenomenon. I want to read this book so badly. Why haven't I? The Other Normals by Ned Vizzini. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. I bought this because of the readables. Priscilla talked about this book and it sounded amazing. Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. I love Neil Gaiman. The Martian by Andy Weir. And Jellicoe Road by Marlena Marchetta. And This Book is Gay by James Dawson. A London Country Diary by Tim Bradford. And a book I actually have read. Oops, what's it doing here? Basically my bookshelf gets kind of full, so things don't always remain how they should be. So yeah, I just recently read Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Miracle, and Maureen Johnson. Okay, the next shelf, we have this really pretty ceramic. It's adorable. Look, it's a little like bear and she's holding a bouquet of flowers. I've had this literally as long as I can remember. I don't remember a time in my life when I didn't have this. So I have Trains and Lovers by Alexander McCall Smith, which I stole from my friend Lena. I have Office Girl by Joe Menno. I have Varjak Paw by SF Say. This is signed. Oh, it's got pretty pictures. From a guy who once worked with Neil Gaiman. So yeah, it's got signed, that's cool. This is another lie. I have read The Graveyard Book, but it just, this kind of children's books, and they all kind of were the same size, so I just put it in there. A Wrinkle in Time by Madeline L'Engle, and 3 Roald Dahl books. I had to read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for a children's lit course that I took once, and I loved it. I'd never read anything by Roald Dahl before, so I went out and bought 2 more of his books. Haven't read them. Fantastic Mr. Fox and James and the Giant Peach. All of them illustrated by Quentin Blake. And then I have All the Wrong Reasons, Who Could Be at This Hour, Lemony Snicket. Ooh, cool, look, the pictures are blue. I wanted to read this because I loved the series of Unfortunate Events and I really love Daniel Handler / Lemony Snicket, but this, I don't understand what this is about. So it's made me not want to pick it up anytime soon. And then we have Dust of 100 Dogs by A.S. King, which was her first book that she published, I think. Ooh, did I just lie? Maybe. Mort by Terry Pratchett, which my friend Sophie gave me. And Going Over by Beth Kephart. On this section, we have a bunch of toy cars, because my family loves little cars, so we've got a bunch of little cars. Ooh, pile up. So we have Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson, and Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. And then we have, bookshelf tour is going to destruct my shelf. We have Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides. I read The Virgin Suicides and didn't really like it, honestly, but I want to give him another shot. The Alex Crow by Andrew Smith, and Beware of Pity by Stefan Zweig. Elijah's Mermaid by S.E. Fox, and then we're gonna do, oh god, pile up. Okay, we're just gonna have a little bit of a pile up. Cars are on cars, it's a giant destruction. The police force are coming. I have the Chaos Walking trilogy. Is that what they're called? Yes. I love how beautiful these books are. Even if I never read them, I refuse to ever get rid of them because they're so beautiful. So we have The Knife of Never Letting Go, I'll Never Let You Go, Knife of Never Letting Go. All of these are by Patrick Ness. And then The Ask and the Answer, is that book 2? Yeah, The Ask and the Answer. Why do I have them out of order on my shelf? Scandalous. Why is this becoming so difficult? And Monsters of Men. And then the final books in my unread books are N.W. by Zadie Smith, which is the first book I ever bought in England, I think. In London, definitely. And then Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway. Okay, that concludes the unread books. Go back to the menu, click here, and if you would like to end the shenanigans and put us all out of this misery, click here. What you gonna click? You have a second to click. What you gonna pick? Okay, bye!